Behind closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
Hello everyone, my name is Anthony and welcome back to the Anthony James Show here on Sports Fan Entertainment. Today I decided to talk about the XFL since the big 30 for 30 special is happening. I have yet to watch it. It's coming out as of this filming later today. So I thought I'd give you my thoughts and opinions on the XFL before I watch that. And, we don't talk about the XFL much for obvious reasons. That was a failed attempt at a football organization now 16 years ago. And I look back at the XFL, and obviously there were some changes made to the NFL from it. But beyond that, I look at it as, what if the XFL were around today? What if they waited 16 years and decided to try it in 2017? Would the results be different? Now let's look at the original XFL in 2001 and talk about the failures of that. I think it's in part because Vince McMahon hoped that he could use the XFL to make the WWE even better, and it didn't really work out that way. The XFL started out strong, and I can't believe they weren't able to continue that success. It had like a 9.5 rating, and then the next week had a 4.6, which frankly, I think a 4.6 is a very respectable grade for a brand new football organization. And unfortunately, they just let it fall apart, and by the end, it was obvious that the season couldn't have another one. Like, you couldn't have a second year of this. And it's unfortunate. Let's be honest though. If this went on for more than 1 year, I think one way or another it would end. Look at what's been going on with all the NFL concussion problems and everything like that. They've been trying to make the game much more safer. Even though it didn't stand for this XFL, you think Extreme Football League, and it's obvious why you would think that. You can't have that. I mean, look at their coin toss. They didn't have one. They had two players run for a football. And obviously there were injuries from that. That's just not a good way. It was a different way, but considering where we are as a country and even as football fans, this wouldn't work today in that regard at least. However, you look at what the XFL was, and it was a really good attempt at an alternative for the NFL. Maybe not even that, but just something to keep us busy while the NFL is away. I know I can speak for plenty of other NFL fans when I say this. It'd be nice if there was an XFL around to watch while we didn't have the NFL. I mean, you can watch the CFL, but that doesn't begin till June. And you could watch the XFL right now, and they tried that with the USFL too, and there's been plenty of attempts. But with the XFL, it was a strong start. If it was in 2017, though, I think we could be talking about the XFL in a much different fashion. Now, first and foremost, you have to change some of the problems that the original XFL had. No way you'd have to do a coin toss. You can't have two guys running for a football. That's interesting, that's different, but that's not safe, and they would be in a lot of trouble. People would be complaining all over the place. You also have to take the WWE out of it. Even though the WWE could use it, they haven't been doing well ratings in the last few years. You can't associate WWE with this. You can't have Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins being up here on random games. You can't do that. However, I think this could really work. I think if they executed it right, which they didn't in 2001, so maybe it would be a failure now too, but I think they could make a really good alternative to the NFL. I truly believe that. I think with what the NFL has been the last few years, I mean, this season I thought was really different. I thought this was a weird season. People said that about last year. The NFL product hasn't been the best lately because of the off the field issues and the on the field issues. Heck, people don't like all these blowouts we've seen in the playoffs. I haven't seen the Super Bowl yet because I'm filming this before the Super Bowl. I don't know when this will be out, but when you look at it from that perspective, if the Super Bowl is a blowout, man, this was not that good of an NFL season. And I think regardless of the Super Bowl, it's not a good NFL season. So for people who like to watch American football, I'm sure they would like an alternative with the XFL, and I think that the XFL could produce. Now, does it necessarily need to be the XFL? No, we could try something else, but it seems like those other leagues are trying to be a farm system for the NFL, which it hasn't worked yet. So for me, I think the XFL could really succeed if it were to be around today. But like I said, it'd have to be run different. There are a few things that you just can't do. But you know what you do to succeed? You bring in big name guys. Like imagine if the XFL had Tim Tebow and Johnny Manziel. You can say what you want about that, but you know you'd be watching that. You'd love to see Johnny Manziel on the Birmingham Thunderbolts. You'd love to see Tim Tebow playing again. Like those would be some big names. They could find big names at a decent price too, and I'm sure that could bring in the ratings. And that's something they didn't really do too much in 2001. Yeah, they had Tommy Maddox, but he hadn't been doing much in the NFL at the time. So I think they could have done so much more with the XFL. And obviously, if we're talking about it being around today, it would be a little different than what it was in 2001. But to me, what's unfortunate is that it came out in 2001 and not 2017. Because at the end of the day, here's the deal. The NFL has not had another organization push them to the limits in, honestly, in like 50 years. Since they combined with the AFL, the closest they really had was with the USFL. Not even the XFL was that close. So that's why I wish the XFL came around today. Because I think it could really be a success team. I think it could be a success story. I think this could be a successful league. However, I don't think we'll get that chance. I don't think that Vince McMahon and NBC are going to want to go down that route again, even though I think it could be worth it. I think it could be worth it. Because, let's be honest, the NFL hasn't been the best the past few years. People dislike Roger Goodell like crazy. They don't like Roger Goodell. Tom Brady. There's so much that people don't like about the current NFL product, and this could be an amazing alternative. There were some very interesting things that went on with the XFL, and frankly, I wish I was older so I could actually remember it, because I was too young to remember that. I was 5. I'm not remembering that. And frankly, I didn't care about football at 5 years old. But I think the XFL could have been a super successful league if they came out today. Maybe not super successful, maybe not NFL level, but it could be a solid alternative. Because we just don't have that now. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I'm excited to watch this 30 for 30. It should be really interesting looking at what went on with the XFL. But man, I really wish we could be talking about another football league. Because the CFL doesn't cut out. The AFL has been poor for years at arena football, for the record. It just hasn't been good. We haven't had an alternative to the NFL, essentially since the USFL, but really since the original AFL, not the Arena Football League. But yeah, I think if it were around today, it could be a really, really good alternative to the NFL. But that's my thoughts and opinions on that. Leave yours in the comments below. Did you watch the XFL? Obviously I didn't, but I'd love to hear if you guys did, so tell me that. If you're new to me, you can follow me on Twitter at AnthonyJamesTV and subscribe to me, Anthony James TV. I make NFL videos on my channel, so you can check those out if you would like. But that's it for you guys today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, whatever it may be. And until next time, this is Anthony. I'm out. Thank you for watching.
Behind closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.